we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this 11th episode of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM show. We're well into the season, and this is the third week and the second day, first show. Today is Friday. Today is Friday, and I have an amazing set of general managers who I'll just introduce to you. But before I do that, my sincere thanks to Diversey, our valued partner, whose continued support season after season has helped make the GM show one of the most respected leadership platforms in Indian hospitality. It's a hot property to handle with all the general managers who are going to be leaders tomorrow, sooner than later, making their presence felt. Season 4 carries out overarching theme, India at Hospitality Inflection Point, redefining excellence across every stage segment. I'm delighted to share this season has opened with our strongest viewership yet, and thank you to our growing community of hoteliers and hospitality professionals joining us from across the country and across the globe. The episode today has an amazingly powerful theme, and it's about F&B as the brand when restaurants drive the hotel, not the other way around. Across India, food and beverage is no longer a support function. It's becoming the primary brand magnet. It's a revenue engine and also an emotional connector. I'll be hosting and moderating today's conversation, and I'm joined by 5 outstanding general managers who are redefining how restaurants influence occupancy, loyalty, and profitability. Before I dive into the show, let me unveil the general managers on the show today. First in, all the way from Chennai, is Ruban Das, who's the general manager of the Hyatt Regency in Chennai.
Hi, thank you so much, Bhuvanesh, and I'm glad to be back at the new season and a new episode. Vanakkam from Chennai.
Vanakkam. And our third show together?
Yes, third show started in COVID, and
Yes, I remember.
long live the BW Hotelier show.
Thank you so much. Next in is my schoolmate, much my junior, Delhi boy in Bangalore, Suveer Sodhi, who's the multi-property general manager for the Courtyard and Fairfield by Marriott, Outer Ring Road, Bengaluru. Welcome to the show, Suveer.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Absolutely delighted to be back. Thank you so much for having me on the show again. It's been an absolute joy watching all of your episodes.
Well, thank you so much. That's such encouragement. Thank you for your kind words. Next in is Rohit Bajpai, again a Delhi boy out of Ahmedabad, who's moved there from Indore. He's the cluster general manager for the Renaissance Ahmedabad Hotel and Fairfield by Marriott Ahmedabad. Welcome to the show again, Rohit. Our third show, or is it the fourth show?
Fourth show, Mr. Khanna. Always a pleasure to be here with the great energy and great vibes that the show brings, and along with you. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. Next in is Rajneesh Kumar, Gurgaon Export to Calcutta. He's the general manager of the Novotel Calcutta Hotel and Residences. Welcome to the show, Rajneesh.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, and namaskar to you and to all my co-panelists. It's lovely to be here, a part of this most admired hospitality show, and I think the most talked about hospitality show. So kudos to you, Mr. Khanna, for putting this up, and it's great to be here again.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. Last but not the least is Pankaj Gupta, quintessential hotelier, who's the area general manager for IHG and the general manager Crowne Plaza, New Delhi in Mayur, Vihar. He's happening. He's got a good portfolio under him. And again, another Delhi boy. So welcome to the show, Pankaj. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. And it was always a pleasure to be on your show. I believe this is the third time when I'm interacting. And good to be knowing a fellow colleague from all across all the regions. So good evening, everyone. And I'm sure we're going to have a great fun today and won't talk about F&B, which is the most important part.
Thank you, first of all, Pankaj, and all the gentlemen on show. F&B is huge. We may not be able to eat large quantities, but we surely want to eat as many variety that we can, right? And I think good food is what good hotels provide. And there's so much of variety. You want any kind of fare, but the challenge is not just food, it's the in-hotel guests and the walk-ins. So let's get about the show and dive straight away in. With your permission, if I may get rolling, I'll get on with the first question for you, Ruban.
Yeah.
All right. Ruban, you've spent how many years in the industry?
I have spent 24 years in the industry.
I was going to say 25. So tell me now, there is the Bengali in Chennai, and Chennai is a deeply food-driven market. How do you position F&B as a destination experience rather than just a hotel amenity? We don't just tick a box कि भाई ये भी है, Oriental भी है, South Indian भी है, North Indian भी है. Give us the mantra.
No, I mean, see, in hotels, I would say that the food and beverage business is of consistency and longevity. I mean, hotel F&B business is slightly different from a standalone, though we are always compared, every month, every day there is a new kid in the block, be it a Chinese or Italian, which comes and vanishes in no time, maybe 2 years or 3 years. So whenever we get compared in that sense, we say that, like perhaps if we are open for the last 16 years, I think only Buhari as a standalone was there for the last 16 years and nothing else, which is all the hotshot brands which comes and vanishes, because that's a different mode of operation, mode of business. Coming back to hotels, Bhuvanesh, I feel that currently it's about projecting the localization, hyper localization, the storytelling of the cuisines, be it the ingredients. I mean, gone are the days you go to a fancy supermarket and buy all imported stuff and line it up your buffet. Now, people are looking for local ingredients, be it a fruit, be it a vegetable. In our hotel, for example, there was a time when we were using only, brands like Tiptree brand of, sauces and ketchups and as a condiments. Now, from that, which is a great brand coming from UK, but from that, there's a shift where we are using currently a brand called Anglo Auntie's hot pepper sauce. Now, Anglo Auntie's hot pepper sauce is based out of Chennai.
Oh, very nice.
But it's unique. Similarly, like gone are the days where the cheese and everything is coming from, France and Germany and Switzerland. We have cheese maker out of Pondicherry and Chennai, which are giving a great variety of, award-winning cheese, which they're making at home. So I think that storytelling coupled with localized food, unique, those are the uniqueness, what is driving the hotel F&B business currently differently from a format of, perhaps Chinese and tick in the box exercises, whatever you have mentioned. And the second part is hybrid, keeping it hybrid. All F&B strength of a hotel cannot be always judged by how many expat chefs you have. But you can collaborate, you can have, good chefs. I mean, like, for example, in Hyatt Regency Chennai, we work with a lady who is based out of Chennai for the last 20 years of a Sicilian origin. So she's from Sicily, but she's married to a guy from Chennai and is here. And we collaborate with this home chef to bring in Sicilian food festivals for our Italian restaurant.
Amazing.
Similar is the case of a Korean, in our Oriental restaurant. So a lot of hybrid efforts are put in to bring in the world to you, but not in a very significantly expensive way. So yeah, it will go on. We have a different trajectory from the standalone, but we will go on and survive.
So tell me also, how do you give your culinary staff, your chefs, visibility?
Sure. I mean, again, it's a storytelling, isn't it? I mean, with the age and day of social media, how we try to portray a story about the culinary staff or a bartender is kind of a day in the life of a chef. It is doing the normal things and not extraordinary things, but the things which are done with passion. For example, is a season of Nolen Gur during December. Our pastry chef is making some Nolen Gur infused desserts. Okay, which is a unique ingredient to Chennai because it comes from Bengal and only during a season. And then you are infusing it, making it ice cream, mousse, stuff like that, and telling simple stories. I think simplicity is the key. I mean, it's not going to be always a cake mixing or a turkey in a Thanksgiving, but what everyday chefs are doing, even teaching a commie how to cook an omelette from an executive chef, or how to roll a pizza dough. I mean, because the span of attention in social media is very short. So do things simply and tell it regularly to the world what is happening in Hyatt.
Also, I think it's no more the case of a chef being kept behind the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not kept behind the wall. Both, I would say that, like we had those show kitchens and live kitchens, which all came out in the 80s. But I think it's more of stock images or, stuff which is made up. People are not, or I would say, bored to see. Like it's not that a chef coat pen ke koi, you're going to a market to see some tomatoes and it's clearly visible that, you are taking it up in your hand because, you want to click a shot or a video. So I think do it normal, organic, natural while you are at work and take it up to the viewers saying that, hey, we want to do it normal, natural way. That's a day in a life of a Hyatt, of a chef, and be authentic.
Thank you so much. That's so valuable. Thank you so much, Ruban.
Thank you.
I'll walk across to my good friend, not very far away in Bangalore from Chennai, Suveer Sodhi. Suveer, tell me, managing select service brands, how do you balance efficiency with creating memorable F&B moments? You're lording over 2 hotels. 2 are there? Or
2
3?
hotels. Yes. No, 2 hotels. No, I think that's a great question. But, Mr. Khanna, I'd like to, the last time I remember I was on the show, it was when I was managing a luxury resort in a leisure destination, right? And now I'm taking care of hotels that are completely different, which are 2 very corporate heavy, business driven, right in the middle of a micro market that is surrounded and flanked by IT parks. And I've also worked with non-hotel F&B, right, where I've run standalone restaurants. And I think guest expectations when they do come to F&B doesn't change purely because you're visiting a restaurant in a select service hotel or a luxury hotel or a standalone restaurant, right? I think memorable moments don't necessarily come from being efficient. It comes more through service and service from the heart, right? And I think that works across brands. So that is one factor where I feel there is a common expectations, especially where we are as a hotel. I mean, we are the price point we charge and the kind of guests we attract as a hotel. I think owing to the micro market we operate in, guest expectations are super high, right? Because guests are paying extremely high prices to stay in those rooms. And where we can really make the difference is in fact food and beverage, right? So I would sort of detach the efficiency and creating memorable F&B moments into 2 separate things that we focus on as a team. I think the efficiency comes from keeping menus simplified in your restaurants. I think gone are the days where we need to have 150 wine labels on a wine list, even if they don't sell, and you have a large store to brag about having 150 labels. I think those days are gone. The idea is to keep what sells on menus. Don't unnecessarily let menus be large to sort of say that we have the most to offer. I think those F&B days are gone. That makes it efficient. Discipline is critical to running a very, very efficient food and beverage operation. A lot of times we just do things for the sake of doing it, right? Because we feel good about doing an X promotion.
Yeah, we're just ticking boxes. It's like
yes, yeah, right, absolutely. And I think if we are not doing it with that intent, efficiency does automatically come in. I think we as a hotel are very efficient because all of our back end operates as one large unit, but we have two hotels, right? So that organically makes us efficient as a combo. We operate as a cluster of hotels. Just to let some of the viewers know, I mean, both the hotels are next to each other. A lot of the teams, a lot of the kitchens, a lot of the stores are common between both hotels, and I think that really adds to the efficiency of this model.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, and I loved what Ruban mentioned, and I should add that because we, for example, 60% of our guests at the hotel are international travelers, right? At the Courtyard, and US is a big region that sort of is one of our feeder markets. So we do a home chef concept. We don't call in the top Michelin star restaurant chef. We don't call in chefs from overseas. We do home chefs every month at Momo Cafe, which is our all-day dining. And we literally bring you different parts of the country here in Bangalore, right? So we just recently had a chef from Bihar who came down and did a fantastic 3-day food promotion here. Before that, we had a chef from the Northeast that came down. Then we called somebody from Coorg to really sort of depict Karnataka and bring you closer to what we can do from food here. And I think those kind of experiences are what create memorable moments. A lot of these guests have never been to any part of India. I mean, Bangalore is the only India they know. So we, as a hotel, really decide to sort of create moments, create memories. So it's low cost, high impact. I always have this joke with my leadership team, right? I say, just because I'm telling you low cost, high impact does not mean that it can't create a memory for a guest.
True. You don't have to throw money in the air and make your presence felt. Yeah, and also simplify menus.
Absolutely, and I was mentioning that. I mean, you know, from whether it's how we do our room service menus to how we plan a mini bar.
No, my biggest confusion is, and scare. I won't say confusion. My scare. First of all, when we go out to eat, I do the convenient job of paying the bill, but I leave the selection to my wife and daughter, and there is a reason behind it. And the reason is, I find it hard to pinpoint what I want to eat in a menu which is more like a Janam Patre.
Absolutely. No, you hit the nail on its head. Yeah, and some of us hoteliers are also guilty of doing that, right? Across
absolutely.
Where we feel that having a book as a menu adds value to a guest journey. But I mean, the idea is to keep it very, very simple. I mean, and that's where I come in. And I think the easiest way to do that is to really look at the number of items you want on that menu. Absolutely. I think really boiling down to, do I need 100? Do I need 30? And I want to do those 30 really well. And I think it is a misconception that our typical hotels would say that, no, how can I not have this in a menu? My guests ask for it, right? And we decide our menu based on that one request that comes once in a month.
It doesn't work. So I enjoy going to fixed service restaurants, you know, where you have a fixed menu. For instance, the ITC Avartana. I go there, ye khana to ye milega, ye khana to ye milega. That's it.
No, you should come to the Courtyard. It's not a fixed menu, but super easy to order. Listen, I will make sure we keep it easy for you.
अब तूने बोल दिया ticket भेज दे मैं आ रहा हूँ.
Done.
So excellent, Suveer. Thank you. That was valuable. Rohit, let me walk across to you in Ahmedabad. I'm a vegetarian, and for me, Ahmedabad is like amazing for food, right? Tell me, which two brands under your cluster? How do you differentiate F&B identities while maintaining commercial performance? I don't know how far is your other hotel from the hotel where you sit?
So I run two hotels which are 8 kilometers apart, right?
And you see them every day, both of them?
No, I go to one and then I go to another, then I go to one, then I go to another. So that there are times I go twice in a day and it's a nice joyride. So yeah, that's the fun part of it. But it's a very pertinent and relevant question you asked me, because I have the amazing task, and unlike most twin tower hotels or hotels which are adjacent to each other, I run two distinct brands. Renaissance, of course, which is the premium lifestyle brand of Marriott International, and Fairfield, which is a select service. No fuss, no frills. Quick to go. But like Sheila Graham once said, food is the most primitive form of comfort in the world, and I think that's required in both. Yes, with touches of the brand segmentation, because we run a Pan Asian bistro in Renaissance, which is called Kuro, award winning for the last 5 years. I got to maintain that because that's the kind of clientele we get. We have Japanese, Koreans, people who are doing high speed rail, bullet train. These guys come and stay with us. They need that. We also at the same time have Fairfield, which is like what you and Suveer were deliberating upon. No fuss, devoid of any frills, comfort, simplified, but yet hitting the nail on the head menus. So brand segmentation is very important in my case in food and beverage. Food and beverage is actually someone's pulse. If you ask me whether it's a hotelier or it's a human being, if I come to your house and you give me Chateau Lagrange 1991, but I don't eat good food, I'll still go unhappy. Even if you don't give me a Chateau Lagrange, but you give me great food, I'll still say, Daru kam pite hain. So and especially in a dry state, I can speak from so the point
Are
is
you
that
allowed to speak about booze?
yeah, talking is allowed. No, so brand distinction is very important in my case. Both hotels being 7-8 kilometers apart in different micro markets. Fairfield by Marriott is a place where a lot of NRIs stay, Gujarati NRIs who come back from US and UK, and they are looking at their Khakra, Fafda presented in an international way. Of course, I can't be giving them on a newspaper ki katran. So, but it's still the same Fafda they like. It's still the same Dokla we like. At the same time, we do food at Renaissance, which is an
With the
upmarket.
comfort of a great hotel.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's the same heroine, with a de-glam look, probably, if I can use that word, and in a different avatar. But food quality, food delivery, service, like Suveer said, the touch points remain the same. The core of it remains the same. The makeup differs, and the way it is done is different. So yeah, it's not easy, but we try. And I think we are successful.
Tell me, unlike Suveer, whose hotels are adjacent to each other, you're 8 kilometers apart. Do you get to share back-end efficiencies?
On some fronts, I can't do it in most fronts because of the geographics, like you, I'm sure you understand. But on fronts where the standardization is required, like pastry, right? So I do a single kitchen. My Renaissance runs the pastry for Fairfield and Renaissance. The commissary part of the mise en place part, it runs in both way. But then I also have one more advantage, wherein when Fairfield is catering or Fairfield is doing something or doing a food promotion, I add the cuisine and the touches of Renaissance over there. If I have to take my food to someone in case of an outdoor catering, in case of on premises catering, I add Fairfield elements from the simplicity point of view. So I've sort of made the differentiation work in a way that both the brands support each other, elevate each other, and add different touches to each other, whether it's the elevating touch or the simplification touch.
Basically, short of post cross-pollination.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that one brand doesn't eat into the other. Very well, very well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Rajneesh, I'm going to come to Calcutta, right? So Calcutta, everybody knows, has a not just sweets. They have a very strong culinary legacy. How do you innovate without alienating traditional diners? I mean, they want that local fare, but हमारे को वही चाहिए, तिवारी का समोसा या CK Das ka Rasgulla, but aap batao, what's the mantra?
Well, let me first tell you that this is a very, very thoughtful question, and let me explain why and how. Because when you work in Kolkata, very quickly you realize that every time you meet people here, one thing which becomes, a topic of discussion is food. I think Ruben is from Calcutta. Probably he would agree more than anyone else. That food has to be a topic of discussion.
I agree.
And when people talk about food, they bring in culture, they bring in experiences, they become nostalgic about their memories of eating the best of the Kolkata biryani from X restaurant, or best of kosha mangsho from Y restaurant, or best of sandesh or mishti doi from, whatever restaurant that they are fond of or familiar with. Oh no, and this certainly, tells us that they're very particular about the tradition, and they're very particular about, the authenticity and the authentic flavor of the food. So I always tell my team that whenever we have to be innovative, let's not reinvent tradition. Rather, let's try and reimagine it, and let's try and let people experience it in a reimagined way. Like I'll tell you a few dishes. A while ago, Ruben just touched upon something that he did with his team with Nolan Gur. And of course, being in Kolkata, I would agree more is Nolan Gur. Of course, now the season is gone. But imagine
it's a very short season.
Short season, and people make sweets, particularly Rasgulla or Sandesh, made out of, this Nolan Gur. Imagine a panna cotta made out of Nolan Gur, right? You get Nolan Gur, you get those flavors of Nolan Gur. You
Tell me, can you store Nolan Gur?
You can, but again, the stored version and the fresh version, there's a complete, contrast in terms of
Rohit
flavors.
has something to say. Rohit, batao.
We learned the art of keeping Nolan Good in a liquid form for at least a year.
Oh.
Yeah, they put it as a topping, you go nowadays,
so
you
the
go to
idea
these ice
is
cream
you
shops.
make sure you get a liquid form of Nolan Good, keep it in an airtight jar, and use it like
बनता कैसे है रूबन बनता कैसे है
बनता तो खजूर से है, so it's basically from the date palm plant, and it is actually the gur is in the liquid form. Okay, so the gur is not in a solidified form, unlike the other versions of the gur. However, if you keep it for long or storing, the storing quality won't be bad. The quality will be good, but there will be a difference in the essence. A fresh Nolan Gur will obviously have a better essence than a stored Nolan Gur, though you will have the same throughout the year to use.
So, batao Rajneesh, sorry, we just butted. I mean,
a very, very interesting topic. As I said, it's a very thoughtful question. When you talk about inventing or innovating, local food in Calcutta, it's a touchy topic, right? You can't go wrong with it. People want to travel back to their roots, and that's what we make sure at Novotel Kolkata. We make sure that the local or the authentic flavors are not compromised. At the same time, probably these dishes that we innovate are presented in a way that also appeals to modern diners. So I talked about say Nolan Gur, and I'm glad that everybody probably went down the memory lane, particularly Ruban. He must have missed his old days of enjoying Nolan Gur in Kolkata. Now imagine another dish, like for example a pulled kosha mangsho burger, right? Now, say a Gen Z diner, who loves his or her pizzas and burgers, and you offer him or her, a burger which has got kosha mangsho, pull kosha mangsho. Basically, you pull it and then you stuff it. When you are eating every bite of that burger, right, you still get the original, authentic flavor of kosha mangsho, right? Bengalis love their Ilish. Ilish is a festival here, right? So there is a dedicated time of the year when people celebrate Ilish, and it's celebrated in such a manner that every nook and corner, every society that exists in Kolkata particularly, they make a great deal out of it. Imagine bhapa fish, they call it, or bhapa Ilish, they call it. So bhapa Ilish rolled in form of a sushi, right? You're still offering what they want to eat, which is a bhapa ilish, steamed fish, but you are just twisting it, and giving it a contemporary look,
Ilish
which
is that
probably
same Hilsa, right?
Yes.
yes, yeah, very very expensive. If you really want to get
No, it
authentic.
only comes from Bangladesh, I'm told.
A lot of it. In fact, the neighboring country was very kind because probably the state did not have enough. I mean, that's the level of consumption that Illis has in Bengal, and it was transported to Calcutta this year. But yeah, it is nostalgia for people, not just living in Kolkata, West Bengal, but any part of India or world, wherever you have, Bengalis. They don't want to compromise with their, if you take aloo out of Kolkata biryani, it's like taking heart out of a human,
I know
right?
you're quite a
So
fast
they are
learner
that
and you're
sensitive about
talking.
the food.
You're quite a fast learner and you're talking to somebody who stays next to CR Park in Delhi.
So you can imagine what I mean.
All
So
right.
the invention is, of course, a garnish, but the main recipe is basically your authentic flavor, right? So you could probably add a layer of garnish through your reimagination or through your innovation, but you have to, ensure that the authentic flavor remains intact.
I get
And
that.
that's what we do when we innovate and we ideate in terms of how can we really do something around the local food that could retain its flavor at the same time can appeal to the modern diners.
Thank you. That's extremely valuable, but you're a very fast learner. How long have you been in Calcutta now?
A little over a year now, but yes, as I said, if you work in Kolkata, you probably get to learn it really, really fast.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Now let me just walk across to my neighbor, Delhi neighbor, Pankaj Gupta, Mayur Vihar. Zyada dur nahi hai. Pankaj, you lord over an area. So from an area leadership lens, how do you scale successful F&B concept across properties?
Well, Mr. Khanna, before I answer your question, I would like to say thanks to Rajneesh for remembering Calcutta because I have worked in Calcutta for 5 years and
Have you?
yeah, and then whatever he took this name of dishes, remembering my those Calcutta days, and no one can beat that food. Even CR Park cannot get that kind of food.
You cannot.
So, and then I remember I was in a hotel and one fine day in cafeteria, people said today is veg food, so they are not very disappointed to have food in cafeteria. So mean that how important is fish there in every meal. And so thanks to remembering those days. Well, coming back to your
People
question.
who have not seen Calcutta, who've not done the food circuit of Calcutta, do not know what they're missing.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing city.
Absolutely agree.
Action of a Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai. It's cheap, but it's world class.
True, absolutely.
I'll just take one moment and sorry, Pankaj, to disturb you. But I'll tell you, my experience of being in Kolkata for 1 year. I mean, every nook and corner you go to, it's an experience. Food is an experience here. And to the extent that there are restaurants which are as old as 200 years old.
Yes.
And they serve it in the same style and fashion that they were doing it for ages. And at a very, very reasonable price.
Yes.
Very, very reasonable price.
Yeah.
So that's uniqueness, that Kolkata has.
True. Back to you, Pankaj. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. So from the area perspective, when I look at performance of all 10, 11 hotels, are 40-45% of revenue come from food and beverage. So you cannot neglect and you cannot ignore that the overall F&B. So what has happened? All area leaders been given a area champion of F&B who really work with all the F&B managers and chefs, very closely works and see how F&B is performing and what support they want and what kind of collaboration is required for all the F&B leaders in the patch. So what we do besides that, we also have a monthly review when we look at each hotel very closely that how F&B has performed and what differently they have done to really enhance the F&B performance and the concept what they are doing it. Also, what we do about inter-property exposure to each F&B leaders, and which has really transformed the performance of the F&B people. And what we recently started, doing a cross promotion. Like recently, we have done a promotion at Amritsari Food Festival to our property, and we have called a chef from there. It was like a cross promotion. Both the property got promoted, and I must tell you, we got an amazing response. And that chef has become a superstar. Now everyone wants that chef to go to their property. And as of today, he has 9 properties in IHG and become superstar, and he knows how to promote himself.
Oh,
Yeah. So post that we have done Rajasthani, we have done Lucknowi, and now people are calling our chefs toward that place to enhance their overall F&B and the promotions. And also not only from promotion, we also look at how talent to be grown within the system. We
true.
have really identified certain talent who is extraordinary, not from a senior level, from a junior level people, those who are Commie 1, Commie 2, or DCBDs, they would like to grow, or extra managers come and go. So recent part, we have grown too many leaders to a profile where you're leading the department. And I must tell you that in past 3 years of time, we have developed 2 talent now become a general manager into our properties, already in Agra and already in Amritsar. So that's the power of concept and driving F&B. And I must tell you, it's doing so amazingly that we would like to penetrate in other areas that way we can look at. Uh, so we got, I'll give example of, we got an Indian restaurant at Rohini, the Spice Art. We would like to do it other properties as well. Now we are building our Indian restaurant at our place. We're going to take a concept from there. How differently we can do our place, how we can do a same kind of food at our restaurant. So that all things are being doing so immensely that the performance of patch and the all the hotel into come to seamless and looking at all most of things.
Thank you so much. That's so valuable. You spoke about job rotation and how people can learn from each other. That's very important, and that's how you become a well-rounded professional, more so in hospitality when you keep rotating between roles. So we come to the midpoint. I'm going to take a very short commercial break and come back to you. 30 seconds.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Let's get back, and we're back into the second part of the show. We've had a very fruitful discussion, but it's time to move on and come back to you, Ruban, and pick on your mind. Ruban, tell me, what invisible operational disciplines most define successful hotel restaurants today? What is your view?
So, successful, if you say, restaurant can achieve success through 2 ways. One is revenue, because we are in the sphere of business, and otherwise, another one is customer satisfaction. Okay, because without that, the revenue won't come. So let's talk about customer satisfaction first. In order to provide a great guest satisfaction index, obviously, couple of things which are basics but needs to be fixed by the restaurants. That is, one is service sequence in a restaurant and the TIS sheet for the kitchen. Okay, attrition level are atrocious in our industry. You will have to have that touchy topic taken over, okay, someday and talk frankly and freely from all of us. But at that level of attrition level from which we are all dealing, these 2, I would say, hatiyars or weapons are the saving grace. When somebody comes into your system, you first try to put a joining toolkit, which is a departmental orientation toolkit, not a HR orientation or a generic orientation, which covers your service sequence, your top 20, and for the chefs, it's a TIS, how to handle the POS systems, loyalty programs, which are like the top training toolkit. And then the service sequence training. I think this is the first part, which is the customer satisfaction part. The second is revenue. I think that is easy. That follows up to the first part. But one point of generating revenue through cost control, if I talk, discipline comes with cost control, also stems out from hygiene. If you have a good hygiene practice in your kitchen, there will be additionally some cost control which you will be able to get, FIFO basis, less spoilages, wastages. In our hotel, we use a waste management tool called HiChef, which collects data from our dustbins. And we can tell that per cover wastage in terms of grams per day. And this data, if you analyze we are using it from H2 of last year, and we got to know that which kitchen and which meal period is causing more wastage. And it helped to at least, come down in food costs for about 3 to 4% in certain kitchens.
And that's how you keep working on it.
Yeah. So, cost control through hygiene, sense of hygiene, wastage. I would not say cut down our ingredients and, compromise on the cuts of meat, etc. By the way, we used to get some 450 rupees kilo meat from Delhi over a couple of years. मैं उसमें जब बिरयानी बनता था मटन का पीस नहीं मिलता था, सिर्फ हड्डी मिलता था. But like chefs are very excited. 450 रुपया में कौन सा मीट आ गया जब 750 रुपया में 800 रुपया में मीट, you're getting it. So cost control, not at the point of quality control, but most of it I would say is customer satisfaction through a rigorous SOP, a rigorous training. That's my answer.
Well, thank you. That's extremely valuable. And also one more, success of a hotel is how people patronize your F&B outlets and keep coming back, and a very strong word of mouth.
Absolutely. And loyalty, maintenance of loyalty is very important.
That is what loyalty is.
Yeah. I mean, and that database, loyalty database, now the database also cannot be stored in an empty network or anything. You have to store in an encrypted network. Most of the branded hotels use a third-party network. And how to use that data to your advantage is very important.
And coming from your question to Suveer, Suveer, bit of a connectivity here. How do you empower frontline teams to upsell authentically without sounding transactional? My problem is, आप guest को बोलते हो तू एक खा सकता तू दो को order कर, and he ends up wasting. He may end up buying. He may end up ordering an extra portion. So what's your view?
No, I think that's a great question again. Mr. Khanna, I think it boils down to two things, and I'll break them down, right? But at the core of it, it's all about training and culture, right? And I'll tell you why I say, and I'll start with the latter. And I think that is more important, right? Because empowerment, one, of course, you talk about empowerment from an upselling standpoint, but I think empowerment also from creating that guest experience, right? And I truly feel that if you drive the right culture in a hotel, if you allow your team members to go and be themselves, and you give them the right training alongside that, so that they are being themselves, but you are sort of refining them along the edges with training, I think that's a winning combination, right? I'll give you an example. Like for example, we have a poolside bar called BG's, right? It's called the BG's. I'm going to be redoing it now. Great F&B space. It's next to our pool. It's in the middle of both the hotels. Extremely popular F&B space, and we are redoing it now, right? And one of the things that we've been engaging with the team and trying to do sort of bring in a training culture of how do you really do suggestive selling without sounding transactional, right? And this perfectly fits the question you asked me. I mean, now imagine you're ordering a cocktail at a bar. Now, if a server tries to just shove the most expensive cocktail, it doesn't make any sense. The first point is to understand, what does that guest want? What is Mr. Khanna's mood? What does he usually enjoy? Is he even a cocktail person? Just because we are a cocktail bar doesn't mean I need to try and suggest that. Maybe he doesn't even like cocktails. What's the base spirit? Does he like a sweet cocktail or a sour cocktail? So I think It's all about understanding what a guest really wants, right? And I think if you can have a conversation and you treat it like a journey, it's not at all forced and it's not at all sounding transactional, right? I mean, I love the Ritz-Carlton example. Maybe you heard of it. I mean, one of our brands, it's a Marriott brand. And 2 decades ago, when I was still studying hotel school, they would do it back then, where they would give $2,000 to every associate of the Ritz-Carlton to create magic and create a memory. They would say $2,000 back then, no questions asked, go and do what needs to be done, right? And I think that's fantastic. I mean, what it's trying to do is, it's not that everyone's going to go spend $2,000 to wow a guest, but those few that will do that if it's so impactful. And imagine the impact that it'll have. So I think culture is big, and then you need to use training to be able to sort of get that right delivery of that culture, right? And we follow that religiously at the hotel. We never reprimand if a wrong decision is being made in terms of wowing a customer, and that's a golden rule at the hotel. If one of our team members does something to go ahead and make a difference, remove something off the bill, you didn't like it, let me get you something else. Nobody in the team will ever ask why you did that. And I think I would summarize it with these two things, right? I mean, story-based selling. Of course, you need to have product knowledge to be able to go out and even suggest what cocktail based on your preference, right? So, of course, product knowledge has to be there. Those are givens. I mean,
those are absolutely givens. Yeah.
And lastly, I think one more thing that works well for most people is you incentivize the upselling piece, right? I mean, I think incentive works across verticals. It's not only F&B. There should be skin in the game. If we can,
it has to be done. It has to be done responsibly.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me, Rohit, if you were redesigning a hotel F&B for the next 5 years, what would fundamentally change?
Yeah, before I get to 5 years, and I don't know why you always keep the most difficult questions for me, but I like it. So,
ये तो Donald Trump वाली बात हो गई. I like it.
It's the joke between the India and the Pakistan captain these days, because USA is between their run rate. So they said Trump yahan bhi aa gaya beech mein, So no, great question. And I think that involves a very prudent outlook, which we must start from today. And I'll give you an example of that. Me and my wife, we were talking that day, and I said to her, baby, can you pass me the tablet? And she gave me the Disprin, because in our lingo, in our generation, tablet means a Disprin or an aspirin or a Saridon. Yeah. If I was to say that to a 15-year-old today, he will pass me his iPad.
Yeah, true.
So times have changed, lingos have changed, meanings of things have changed. Pule Sote Marengo, I still remember I had in the year 2000 at Windsor Manor, does not make sense to a 18-year-old today, because he doesn't care and he doesn't want to know what is Pule Sote Meringo. He may have Pule Sote Meringo without knowing it's Pule Sote Meringo, as long as it comforts him and tastes well and is experiential. Today's generation does not eat food with their hands and mouth. They first start eating it with their phones. The first click, the plate presentation, the experience, and the video of the server getting it to the table with all the smoke and cloud. I think, to answer your question, the first answer would be experiential. Any menu which is being designed for the next 4 years, 5 years, and I would take it to a decade, has to be experiential. It has to have the element of sensory experiences incorporated in it. It is not like us that we would go to the House of Ming and wait for 45 minutes for my golden prawns to come, because I know they are great. They still are, I'm sure. But the fact remains that the experience before that is what people await in today's date. So you see a lot of small cafes and this thing having a biscotti on their cold coffee in spite of selling it for 220 rupees next to a nukkad. So experiential dining, I think, is the main mantra, which is going to define menu designing for the next 5 years. I think the second point, it has to be tech driven. Today's generation, the youngsters, you call them millennials, zennials, generation X, Y, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, whatever you may call it. Today's kids, today's customer, and let me say the younger generation who spends money, who goes out for F&B, they are looking for tech-enabled experiences. For them, that's the way to be. It's not like us that, matar chil rahe hain ji 10 kilo subah se leke sham tak on a newspaper. The things have changed. They don't care how the matar is chiloed. They want the experience. They want it tech-enabled. And I think one of the gentlemen, Ruban, was saying it very nicely, and I would like to word it my way. I think the experiences have to be local, you know, localized, presented in a global, classy, trendy, snazzy way, where people can click it on their phone, people can eat it with their eyes, they can tell their friends, they can enjoy it, and then they can brag about it.
And
So
good for you, they're doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was telling my head of marketing the other day, I said, dude, you've got like 5 crore people on your payroll because, every time you do something good, one guy is going to spread it to crores of people. And that's the power of social media today. So I think all menus, and I'm not negating the fact that food need not be qualitative or good or presented well. Next 5 years, I think the answer to your question is the menus have to be experiential, tech enabled, and definitely global.
And more compact.
Absolutely, absolutely.
वो जो किताब बना देते हैं ना बड़ी तकलीफ होती है.
Manas, people don't read anymore these days. I remember, when I was passing my college and, we used to ratify the French classical menu, enré, poisson, poisson, potage and everything. And, five examples of each, ready with bated breath the next day because, that was the epitome of being a food and beverage hotelier. Well, I think in today's date, I was talking to my F&B head the other day from Fairfield. I don't expect him to know that anymore. I don't expect the Pothi Patras anymore because that's not what the customer expects. So, and I think you hit the nail rightly on the head, Khanna sahab, that long story books of Ruskin Bond in style of the menu have to go away.
No, they have to.
It has to go away. It has to be experiential, tech-enabled, and local. I think that's what I feel.
And while you have the menu, I think a lot of people need assistance of the server. The one who's taking the order, ke yaar kya karu? This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Can you help me cut through?
Yeah, because horse deover will never be understood well in our country. Horse deover will remain horse deover. We may try to teach
don't embarrass them by suggesting
exactly. So I think the world is changing. The world of F&B is changing more rapidly than the gray hair that we are growing every day, and I think we need to keep pace with that.
You're not going to get personal, huh?
I was talking about myself.
I was going to point that out in case you were letting that slide.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Rajneesh, back to Calcutta. Can you imagine this was a quick spin over? If you were, tell me, beyond covers and revenue, what metrics truly matter for F&B success?
It's really nice to virtually travel from south to east to north and every part of India. Through your show, that's the power of the show. Virtually,
that is the beauty of the GM show this year. We're not doing it by geography. We are doing it by segment. So we get them all from all 4 corners of our beautiful country.
That's really nice. Very thoughtful of you that you do it this way. It also helps us connect, and I like, Rohit just said, Rohit and I, we met, I don't know how many months back, and maybe Suveer or even Pankaj, Ruban probably I'm seeing him for the first time. So it also gives us an opportunity to kind of reconnect or connect. So kudos go to you for such a great initiative. Coming back to your question, in terms of metric, to be honest, in today's world, you've got number of metrics to look at. Most of the well-positioned food and beverage, particularly in chain hotels, have got very, I would say, new age software systems, etc., to help you understand a lot of things in terms of predictive analysis or prescriptive analysis or whatever. So I don't get into all of that. I may sound a little old school, but for me, the success primarily is measured by maybe 2 or 3 key metrics, and I think one of it you and Ruban touched upon is about the fact that whether the guests are coming back to your restaurant or not, their love for your restaurant. Because I truly believe that a frequent diner makes more sense than having, one full house on one of the days in a particular month, right? Because that basically signals that, you are heading in the right direction. So guests coming back, guests love for your concept, for your food, for your flavor, for your service. Second metric for me would be the P&L. At the end of the day, food and beverage, I think Pankaj pointed it out that, and I do agree that majority of our hotels today, F&B is not just anything else but an important contributor to the overall success of the hotel, particularly. Like in my hotel, 45%, likewise, like what Pankaj said, is contributed to F&B. So P&L should make sense at the end of the day, right? Because that basically helps you understand, the acumen of, the people managing F&B. And it's very, very important. Third piece for me would be, understanding whether every individual in the team at the end of the day still has got, that energy and they smile on the face, even if they are serving the last, cover for the day. Because it's important to ensure, and like somebody said in the show, that today the attrition level is so high. It's important that you engage with your F&B colleagues more than ever to ensure that there is retention and there is synergy and there is consistency more than anything else. I think these three metrics to me are extremely important, to measure the success of food and beverage.
Coming back to what Ruban had said, and I had made my intervention, loyalty. I remember my younger days, my kids were very small. We have a bunch of classmates who would go out with family together for a meal. Almost every week to 10 days, we only ate at the Jade Garden in Claridge's. Our comfort was the place. Our comfort was how we were handled. Our comfort was the food. Call it loyalty, whatever. Yaar, kahan jana hai? Jade Garden. Right? इंडियन खाना नहीं यार, वो जेट गार्डन है. इंडियन क्या खाना? अगर इंडियन खाना पड़ा तो वो मोती महल डिलक्स इन जीके. Right? So we had our fixed addas. South Indian खाना है तो साकेत शेरेटन में जाके, वो क्या नाम था उस साउथ इंडियन? Sorry? दक्षिण. वहां जाते थे. So that is what loyalty is.
Fujia.
याद है सिलपत पड़त निशान. You keep going back like a yo-yo.
No, very true, very true.
Yeah.
And loyalty pays off at the end of the day, whatever said and done. And that's
I must tell you, my immediate neighbor comes from Jalandhar for what? And he's a vegetarian. He comes for an overnight meal at the Bukhara with his family. Delhi mein ghar hai, he's a very big industrialist. He comes from Jalandhar. He only goes to Bukhara. मैं कहा समीर क्या खाओगे? कहते जी पनीर खाऊंगा. खाना सिर्फ वही है. कहते रोटी बड़ी अच्छी है.
I was in Delhi last month, and first thing me and my wife did was go to Colonel's Kebabs.
Oh, there you are, def call.
So something it won't change. They'll never change.
So, Ruben, like we were speaking, loyalty makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but at the
Keep
same
going
time,
back.
if
You
I may,
can take me for South Indian anywhere.
True.
agree,
But
agree,
take me to
but-
Chennai. Take me to Chennai. I will only go to Sarvanas and Vadapalani.
Correct.
Take me to Bangalore. I'll go for Andhra food. To Church Street, Bhimas. I have my addas. You take me to Pune. I have my own adda. So I think we need to become a adda. We need to get people to fixated on us. All right. The last question of the day. Pankaj, it's over to you. What advice would you give aspiring general managers who want F&B to become their competitive advantage?
Well, if you look at about a decade ago, there were owner's preference was GM from F&B background, right? But now today's scenario have changed. You want GM from a sales background or a commercial background because to drive numbers. That's a preference what I've been hearing from a long time. But I believe the F&B is the most important critical part where for any general manager, I'll give an example, right? I'll access into two parts. One is the commercial, one is about the basics. If you look at, if you have rooms and F&B, let's say if you have 400 keys, you can sell maximum 400 rooms. But F&B, there's no limit to it. You can do an outdoor catering of 1,000 people, 10,000 people. You can mint money there. So where you don't have expertise, so it's very important to, we have journalist GM candidates where we coach them, we talk about them, we talk about very, very basics to those people that how F&B is important today's time where people are missing out at that time. Where you can look at how you can drive your F&B, right? So we talk all the people that basics that when once you're in F&B, when you want to focus F&B, think like a restaurant, not like a hotelier. Think how can you drive your independent restaurant or a banquet space. I feel the GM should look at when they become a general manager, they should be a chief host of the hotel. For the
True.
Which
you are actually.
What are you doing in F&B outlet? Is if you should walk around, look at everything from a guest point of view. What my team required as support, what the guests are expecting from out of it. Are you really doing it, or you are just saying, okay, fine, today days have gone, I've done. What is sustainability of your outlet? Are you sustainable? Is your outlet doing a right P&L? It is very important to see your outlet-wise P&L. Don't look at holistic picture, because when you look at holistic F&B profitability, you're doing good because of banquets. But what about your specific outlet doing profitability? Deep dive that, because one fine day you will be questioned by the owners, by the brand, by your reporting manager, or by your juniors. Also, most important about how are you driving your F&B in terms of experience, doing food festivals, doing brunches, doing a weekend dinner. This will drive your NR covers, because what happened, you become very happy that, okay, I've done a 90% occupancy and my restaurants are full. But you dissect to it, look at how many people are coming from a local guest. Are they coming to your restaurant or not? Is your outlets are getting full, doing covers from a local guest or from an in-house guest? Because one fine day, you will realize that I'm not getting guests from a local. All are going to restaurants, all are going to mall. No one is coming to me. And also, the most important thing that I feel the GM and the chef should have a partnership, right? And they should be critical to it. And they should sit down, discuss about what are they doing it. That should be a learning for an F&B, that you should know that what your chef is going to do is really very innovative. Even talked about local, but how local is going to put for a guest experience, most important. And what I tell to all the people is most important about the guest experience and the feedback. Do not depend on that just you see your reviews are good, you met your metrics. What about each and every feedback is talking about your food and beverage? Go sit down and do your changes accordingly, because that will, the face of the hotel will change everything for your food and beverage, for your future general manager role.
No, very, very valid. And also, you must stay guest obsessed.
Absolutely.
You have to be obsessed about your guest. You have to know everything about him, her, their family, right? You need to build a relationship and you need to live out of your skin. Don't get too personal, but also let them know how valued they are for you, right? And how you care for them. You may call them for a free meal. You may call them for a special occasion. You may send them something on important dates, not their dates, their children's birthday, their parents' anniversary. So it's a short life, right? You make a relationship with your wife, right? You have a relationship. You might as well get out of your skin. If you're not an extrovert, then you can't be a hotelier. So you have to go build a relationship and get to know them and say, याद रखे कि यार वो पंकज था, वो रूबन था, वो रजनीश आया थे दिल्ली से, वो सुवीर आया था, वो दिल्ली का लड़का रोहित, यार क्या जीएम था सर, मैं आपको बता नहीं सकता. And like that, you must encourage your colleagues also. I've had a wonderful show, right? All my shows are wonderful, but each show I have so much to take away from, right? And thank you for being there. I can't even tell you how much I learned from each outing, and today's no exception. So if I was to summarize today's conversation, it makes one thing abundantly clear. F&B is no longer a department. It's the hotel's heartbeat. It is, right? not just your restaurants or your in-room dining or your banquets or a good shadi or a good party. We heard about destination dining, efficiency with emotion, multi-brand strategy, heritage innovation, experiential leisure concepts, and scalable frameworks. But beneath all of it sits leadership, present leaders, commercially aware teams, and experiences built with intent and relationships. I think relationships are extremely critical, and innovation, right? You don't need to change your menus every day. You don't need to, after all, how many times has Bukhara, Peshawari changed their menus? वही दाल, वही बड़ा वाला नान, वही सब, वही स्टोरी उनकी, बट लेजेंड है. शेफ बदल गए, सब बदल गए, लोकेशंस बदल गई, खाना वही है. वो रेडिसन में क्या नाम है वो कबाब वाला, कबाब, द ग्रेट कबाब फैक्ट्री, वही है, बिक रहा है. लोग उसी के लिए आते हैं, जलंधर से आते हैं, सिर्फ एक डिनर किया, वापस चले गए. The strongest hotel brands today are being built plate by plate, moment by moment. भाई ये सोशल मीडिया के लिए डाल देना मेरा एक. So I think this, thank you so much. And, you know, I don't know how to sum up this show, but thank you all for being there. To make our show look so good. We've done multiple shows together. Rajneesh, our second one together?
Yes. Second one.
Yeah. Thank you for being there. Keep coming back. And thank you to Diversey. We must thank Diversey. They're doing a great job. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're helping the industry. They're helping your cause to carry your word the farthest. And also a big thank you to Team BW Hotelier for churning out each show. It takes a lot to churn out a show, from scheduling to the scripts to the entire talking points, the questions, right? So until next week, for the next show now, and the week after, we'll soon have you back. And before I close, a short clip of the Diversey video.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
All right. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Rohit, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ruban,
Mr. Khanna.
thank you so much. Pankaj,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rajneesh, and the youngest, I think, by the color of his hair, Suveer. Thank you all for being there.
Blame it on the jeans.
You make us look good. God bless you.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you,
Thank
BW
you.
team.
Thank
Bye,
you. Thank
everyone.
you.
Lovely meeting
Thank you.
all of you. Thank you.
Same here. Bye.
Thank you.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible